Well, I took allergy medicine. It doesn't seem like I did.
I sneeze and cough a lot when I'm hungover, though. Maybe that's part of it?
I'm so hungover. I'm dying.
Do you want something that'll make you feel better?
I took,
It's not drugs, it's just emotional.
What? Emotional?
Yeah.
What? What the fuck is this? Magnets? Oh, this is awesome! With our brand new look, our new look.
Yeah.
That's so rad!
That's your
This is my
stack
pack?
if you want it, yeah.
Fuck yeah! Thanks!
Yeah, I've been giving some away. You have a stack right there.
Cool. Love it.
So there you go. Now you can't be hungover because you're like so excited.
Now I feel great. It's magic.
Again, to Noah Snark, we're two former religious types who current snarks take a look at religious media on its own terms.
I'm Hillary.
And I am Josh, a.k.a. Maccabees.
I dig it.
So, before we talk about what we're doing today, do you have any hits or any misses from last week, any weeks prior?
Not that I...
We learned some pretty morbid information about Touched by an Angel guy.
Yeah, we had a friend of the show write in and give us a little more information about the,
fate.
Yeah.
Of both
of
the male angels.
Right.
From Touched by an Angel.
Should I just read what she wrote?
Sure. This is primarily about Adam.
Right.
The angel from the first Thanksgiving episode, because we already know that Andrew, John Dye, in real life, died relatively young of apparently a heart problem.
Yeah, apparently both Angel of Death actors had untimely and young deaths. Adam, who was in the previous episode that we talked, like the first episode that we talked about, the Thanksgiving, he was going to be on SNL at some point and felt upstaged by Eddie Murphy, as one would.
Yeah.
And then got fired from a sketch show that he was doing for cursing, and then died slitting his own throat in a field in 2005. So that's pretty fucking rough.
Slitting your own throat is...
That's intense.
That's a way to go.
That is commitment. Yeah. I didn't look up how Andrew died.
It's a heart problem.
But
I think it was undiagnosed. So
Gotcha.
He just woke up dead.
Just woke up dead.
It just sucks.
Worst way to wake up.
Yeah. But his was in the early 2000s too, I'm pretty sure.
So that's fun. That's a great way to start the day.
So what we are learning is that while they might have played Angels of Death, Roma Downey's the real Angel of Death. Because everyone else on that show with her is dead. Except the immortal Valerie Bertinelli.
Right. Which, now, oh god, we should knock on wood.
I have no wood!
I have no wood.
I don't have any wood.
I hypothetically knock on wood.
Hypothetically. Knock on plaster.
That works. There's some wood in there.
Maybe I got a stud. I also wanted to give myself credit.
Okay.
Duke Nukem is the name of the rock monster looking guy from Captain Planet. His name is Duke Nukem.
So you nailed it too. Well done.
So I get a hit.
You do get a hit.
Because his name was Duke Nukem. They almost changed the video game character's name.
Yeah.
Because of the Captain Planet guy.
Okay.
Except the Captain Planet guy's name was not trademarked, so they could use it.
Should we be concerned that Captain Planet made this much of an impression on us? It was long ago.
What is your preferred ring, if you had to choose one?
Oh, I thought about it a lot. And I think it would probably be... Well, it depends on if I get the monkey with the heart ring.
Yes. Because you make friends with animals. In fact, you don't just get a monkey, you get whatever animal.
Yeah. So, honestly, it might be that one. I'm not a destructive person, so I can't really see using the other rings for much. Maybe water.
I was going to go with water. Because
I'm afraid of drowning.
I want water or fire. Those are my two choices.
Wheeler.
Right. But a lot of people give Mati a lot of shit because he's Mati and he's a loser. But Mati is the heart of the team. Literally. It's been shown. Like, when he wasn't around, the team frays and they get upset with each other.
Plus, he had a monkey friend.
Plus, Captain Planet is not able to be created without heart.
Right. He gets a bad rap. But...
The minimum that they need, the minimum they've shown at least, is you need Earth and heart to make Captain Planet. He doesn't have all of his powers.
Right.
But he does have a corporeal form. So, Mati is the linchpin of the team.
Maybe I should do a podcast just about Captain Planet. should branch out.
And there's one more thing I wanted to address first.
Go.
We actually received a complaint.
Oh, yay!
From our Tribulation Trail episode.
Okay.
Kat, at one point during the show, says, "Fuck Jesus." And I received this complaint in person, but we can, talk about it. And I replied, more or less, like, I'm pretty sure Kat was talking very specifically about a very specific type of Jesus.
Right.
When she said, "Fuck Jesus."
I don't even remember her saying it. I wasn't here.
I think it was near the end when we were talking about how petty Jesus was being in the Tribulation Trail.
Right, so she's fucking that particular Jesus.
Right, and so I was saying, she wasn't saying "fuck Jesus" generally.
Right.
In fact, we said multiple times, we respect most people's religion, unless this is your type of religion, where you're supposed to be vindictive and feel vindicated.
Right.
By people burning in hell for all eternity.
Right. So
that Jesus, I'm with her.
Yeah.
It was basically presented as like, if you want people to listen, maybe that's not the way to go about it. I'm like, that might be true, but if that's your type of religion, that's too bad.
Yeah.
Because that type of religion is gross.
It's wrong.
And then the counter was basically...
morally wrong, not like...
right.
Incorrect wrong.
It also is incorrect.
Right.
But it's more the moral...
unprovable, but morally wrong.
Right. And then it was more a matter of like, you're right, maybe I grew up with it and I'm more used to it.
Right.
But this is part of the problem, is you grow up in that sort of, honestly, gross religion, and you get inured to how disgusting it is.
Right.
So then someone insults that very particular form of it, and you're like, upset about it.
Right.
But
take it personally.
Yeah. But one, it's not really personal.
We're not here to hurt.
I think anyone who is a believer but doesn't buy that particular branch of the religion wouldn't be upset about it, because they would know that we're not talking about that particular version.
Right.
We're talking about the version that we're presented with in any given episode.
Right.
If we one day watch something that's very innocuous, I love everybody, Jesus, and no one goes to hell, that's fine. It might be bad still, but that's not my fault. We're just talking about the quality of the things we do.
Cool.
That's all. I was trying to get a statement from Kat, but she didn't give me anything. Hillary.
What?
Let's talk about what we're doing today.
Okay.
What is it?
Jewish things.
Jewish things.
We are doing a couple cartoons covering the meaning of Hanukkah, or that's the meaning of Hanukkah, depending on which episode we're talking about.
Right. So, it's Maccabees, the story of Hanukkah.
Right.
Which is an old... It reminds me of those old cartoons you used to watch about like Joseph and the Technicolor Dreamcoat.
Yes, all the old Bible story ones.
The old Bible story ones.
They seem dubbed, like dubbed from another language, but they're not. Right.
And then we also...
old 80s animation.
And then we also did the Rugrats Hanukkah special.
Hanukkah. Oh, I fucking love it. Love it. And I learned a lot. I didn't know much about this.
I didn't know the exact history. I only knew the menorah part. They got to.
Yeah, I only knew about the oil lasting 8 days.
Right. We're going to learn the history of Hanukkah together.
Let's do it.
But first, let's describe it in one sentence.
I forgot to do that.
That's fine. I have one.
Okay.
For Maccabees, the story of Hanukkah, my sentence is, I'm a Jew, he's a Jew, she's a Jew, because we're all Jews. Yeah!
Love it.
And we'll get to maybe why that's relevant in a moment.
Speaking of Nickelodeon.
So let's start with the Maccabees, because it's the more serious of the two.
Yeah.
And should probably give more perspective on the holiday than the Rugrats would, because it's a show for children.
Right.
But we open with an introduction from what sounds like an extremely old man.
It does sound like... I couldn't figure out if this was part of it or not. Like, is this part of it? I don't think it is.
I think it's an intro for a series that's typically about inventors and stuff.
Oh.
So now they're finally doing like a religious story, and they're just trying to... Well, let me tell you what they say.
Okay.
The Maccabees is a story about religion. The different beliefs, different rituals, different ways of dress involving religion are not important. The only thing that is important is that you as a person accept that every other person has the right to believe as they wish.
Yes, man. Yeah. Yes,
That's
sir.
my old man voice.
Yes, sir, old man.
Yeah, because from what I know about the series, I looked it up, it's usually about like Abraham Lincoln or Thomas Jefferson or Edison.
Right.
And so it's not usually about Bible stuff or Torah stuff. So it was just an introduction to their secular audience. Like, it's a story about Jewish people. It's going to be fine. You're going to learn some history.
Yeah.
Which I think is fair.
Cool.
And it's clearly for children, so they're trying to tell the children, like, people believe different from you.
That's okay.
That's okay.
Yeah.
And then we also get another introduction when the episode starts proper, and it's just a scroll. And Think I should just read this thing all the way through?
Read it all the way through.
Hanukkah, meaning Feast of Dedication, commemorates the great victory of the Jewish people in Israel over King Antiochus Epiphanes, the pagan tyrant who tried to destroy Judaism in 165 BC. It also marked the Jews' rededication of the temple, which was defiled by Hellenists at that time. This holiday is significant for both Jews and Christians alike, since the roots of both religions were preserved through God's deliverance. Indeed, in commemoration of this event, Jesus went to the temple in Jerusalem to celebrate this holiday, known then as the Feast of Dedication. Then they quote a Bible verse.
Yeah.
Later, it became known as the Feast of Lights to celebrate the religious freedom that was attained and to remember the miracle of the burning oil lamps in the temple. Today, in synagogues across the world, Zechariah 4:6 is still read on this holiday as a reminder that not by might nor by power, but by the Lord's Spirit are his people delivered.
Right on.
I was like, good Lord.
That's a lot of...
Right away, I was just like, that's a lot of introduction.
Yeah.
We get old guy introduction. We get long scroll introduction.
Right.
I had to write all that down so I could get it right.
Yep. Couldn't screenshot it.
So I was just like, good goddamn, let's just watch some cartoons. And now we do watch some cartoons. We open the show in the Holy Land a long, long time ago. Mm-hmm. And King David wants to build a temple to his God to serve as a holy place where men and women could feel the presence of God. David gathers all the finest materials he could find, and his son Solomon finishes it after his death. 7 years later, the temple is complete, and everyone is oh so happy, but as time went on, the temple was continually attacked, robbed, and eventually destroyed, but was ultimately rebuilt because the Jews felt incomplete without it. It's basically another intro.
Yeah, I drifted. Just now.
It's so much intro. And finally, to finish setting up this show.
Yeah.
But a strange and subtle foe followed these more obvious ones. Greek culture.
Fucking Greek culture.
It spread through the entire world, and even into the courtyards of the Holy Temple saw its effects. So finally, we finally get cartoon.
Yes.
Because a tough guy takes a spear and he throws it at a bullseye.
Yeah.
And he does pretty good.
That's pretty good. Yeah.
He gets it right outside the bullseye.
Better than I could do.
Better than you could do. And then he passes it to the man next to him, a big, hulking, blonde guy. This is the hammer.
Yep.
So get used to seeing the hammer. And the hammer throws the spear and actually gets a bullseye. So he has come up victorious, I guess.
He wins.
He wins.
Yeah.
And he gets a little crown of, like
something.
a wreath crown.
Yeah.
Like I guess
Laurel
Greeks
wreath? I don't know.
And the next time we see the hammer, we have cut to an arm wrestling competition. He's like in a pub, and they're arm wrestling. And one of the big guy defeats big guy number 2.
Right.
But on his way out the door, because Hammer's trying to leave, he's stopped and told that he has to challenge the winner in this arm wrestling contest. And after a little bit of taunting, he's easily goaded into it. And so the hammer wins. Yep. Because otherwise we wouldn't be watching a 20-minute cartoon about the hammer.
Right.
And as he leaves the table, he flexes and makes sure the whole room knows these are not the hammer.
The hammer is my penis.
So
that's a quote. I'm not weird.
No, right.
Not a quote from this. That is a quote from another thing.
Right. Anyone who gets it will hopefully be amused by
yes.
it. But in another place, an old woman is approached by a man in Greek clothing because he's been infected with Greek culture.
He loves it. This guy loves his toga.
He does. But he's offering to take the old woman to the temple. Uh-huh. She's waiting for Judah Maccabee, who is running just a little bit late. They make a dare, basically. Like, if he shows up in the next 5 seconds, the guy in the toga is going to crawl in the dirt.
Yeah,
and
roll around in the dirt. And if he doesn't,
then the woman will.
It's not a very good bet.
Yeah, but she counts to 5, and he shows up right at 5.
Yeah.
And so, it's
cool.
Cutesy, I guess?
I guess. I'm like, well, this is going to be really boring, is what I decided.
But Judah shows up, and him and the old woman make their way to the temple, and they are eventually beset by the hammer accidentally, because he's practicing some of his hardcore parkour, and he runs over Judah a little bit. Knocks him off his feet. You know, he's just generally being a tough guy. And they invite him to come to the temple with them, but the hammer refuses, because he considers himself a Greek now. I am not a Jew. I am a Greek.
It doesn't take much.
The old woman...
He's really into trends.
The old woman points out that you can't just stop being a Jew. But Hammer says that he's sure gonna try.
Cool.
Which is strange, but okay.
He's going through a phase.
Yeah. The old woman and Judah then have some great temple time, and when they are leaving the temple, they are presented with a gift from the king. And it is a statue of the king himself, who has declared himself a god. It is to go up inside the temple, but Judah turns these soldiers away with a pointed finger and a stern tone. And so back in his royal chamber, the king decrees that every Jew who will not bow down and accept the Greek gods shall die.
Yep. Good guy.
Good guy. Good guy king.
Yep.
So we're now in the middle of a raid, and the Jews are being attacked by Greek soldiers, and they break into all the homes and they ask, Greek or Jew? And the old woman is accosted in this raid, and I swear I thought she was thrown into a fire.
Yeah.
Because she's on screen, she gets like pushed, and then it's just fire.
Right.
So it's like, holy shit.
Did she explode?
I just assumed they were going to show an old woman burn.
Right.
But she was thrown into a fire, so she's dead now. And so I was like, that's pretty fucking morbid for a kid's cartoon.
Maybe this isn't for kids. Maybe this is an adult cartoon.
And the hammer, during the raid, is recruited as a new Greek soldier. And Judah and some of his people run away. And because they would rather die than see the temple desecrated. So he goes to attack the Greeks. Mm-hmm. But he's persuaded to just leave it for now.
Fall back, yeah.
We're gonna be okay.
A lot more of them than us.
Right. So he leaves with his family, his brother and father and stuff. A statue of Zeus is put up in the temple courtyard to serve as a reminder that Zeus sees, hears, and knows all. And so to all Jerusalem, the king demands that they look at their new god, Zeus! And so now on the run, Judah and some of the others argue and complain about how bad their new lot in life is. Because they're hanging out in the mountains, they just have a little bit of stuff.
Yeah.
Like, well, we're fucking stuck here in the mountains. You know, if you believe the stereotypes, this is very relevant. How's your hangover going?
Awful. We're trying so hard. I'm dying.
And Judah asks at one point about the old woman. And so, again, I was forced to assume that she had been burned to death in the raid.
Right.
But then 5 seconds later, they revealed that she is hiding out in the...
fire.
In the attic.
Oh.
Of the Greek guy who had helped her earlier.
Right.
The guy wearing the toga. Or who had talked to her earlier. So he's a good man, you know, that Greeky boy?
Yeah, he just likes her outfits.
He just likes the outfits and maybe the Play-Doh.
Yeah, he's a little more open-minded.
But she is confident that Judah will come for her once again, just like he did earlier in the story. It's supposed to be scriptwriter.
Yeah.
For their part, the Jews hide away in the mountains and they plan an attack. They realize that they're severely outnumbered and out-arsenaled, but Judah points out that they have the mountain, and therefore the high ground.
Yes.
They build a nice little society at the top of this mountain, and as a song plays, we catch up with the ever-patient old woman sneaking into the temple to pray to real God, not fake God Zeus.
Yeah, she just kind of hugs it.
Yeah.
Just hugs the wall.
And then she is caught by the hammer, who begins to call for help to turn her in as a sneaky Jew. Mm-hmm. But he's ultimately convinced to do the right thing, and he lets her get away. And then he is despondent over the fact that he is, in fact, and feels like a Jew.
It's damn it, I'm a Jew!
I'm a Jew! He, pounds on the house.
It's so weird.
Oh, Jew! So no matter how hard he tries to deny it, he can't not be a Jew.
He tried as hard as not to be a Jew, but he's a Jew!
Which, honestly, even if that made sense, it's not that big a deal to not try to get someone arrested and or murdered for being a Jew. You're not, oh, if only I wasn't a Jew, this would be so easy.
I would have murdered her by now.
Right.
Yeah.
Hopefully, even Greeks or...
My stupid God won't let me murder this old lady.
Hopefully, even Greeks are not just by default, kill all Jews. I mean, apparently this has been a theme, so that's...
Yeah.
Frustrating. But it's weird to think that the only reason he wouldn't have done it is because he's Jewish, and not because he's not a piece of shit.
Right.
Although, again, most people apparently are pieces of shit. So.
That's 100% true. We don't even need to discuss that. All humans are garbage. Let's move on.
But we're back on the mountaintop, and the Jews believe that they are being attacked by soldiers, but it's revealed that this is really just the hammer coming to join his people.
Yeah.
The hammer's back.
He's still in his outfit.
He's still in his Greek outfit. That's why they thought he was a soldier.
It makes sense. He's in a soldier outfit.
But the king is advised of the little Jewish hideout in the mountains, and so he orders the death of them all. And as the Greeks come to attack, some of the Jews decide to run, but Judah gives an inspiring speech about how God will protect them. He protected our forefathers, and our 5 fathers, and he's going to protect us.
No, you just quoted Rugrats.
I know.
Too soon.
I know. I just thought it was cute.
I can't wait to talk about it.
Giving this big speech about how God's going to protect the people, and I know it's been pretty common probably throughout all of history, but it's got to be really awkward for the people who do die.
Yeah.
Like, God's going to protect us. Ooh, but not you.
Yeah, most of us.
Most of us. Some of us are going to be okay.
You didn't pray correctly.
But like you, oh man, sorry about that, Tom.
You did it wrong.
Steve. Jeez. It's so weird. What are your last thoughts when you're fighting a holy war?
You were protecting me.
Right. You're fighting a apparent holy war, and your God's supposed to be protecting you, and you get stabbed in the face.
Right.
Like, what's your last thing? Besides, ow.
Fuck you, God.
Yeah, I don't know what you think.
I don't know.
But it's time for the battle, and the Jews do use the high ground to their advantage. The Greeks are overconfident in their numbers, and so they are continually failing to take the mountain, because they're just above them, and they just break their swords.
I was going to say, they have swords that break swords. So they're gonna win. They're gonna win. Like, their swords just, like karate chop through all the other swords and like, cut them in half.
They have
I guess they have diamond swords.
They have Hattori Hanzo swords.
Oh, there you go.
But eventually, the Jews put into play a plan where they pretend to escape, run up the mountain. Mm-hmm. But it's really obviously a trap. And so the Greeks are lured into a trap, and they are hit with a flood and a massive pile of rocks. Just smashing all these people to death.
Yep.
I love how kid stuff never shows.
Like, these are just like boulders bouncing off people's heads, essentially.
But what's really happening?
They're being crushed to death.
They're being completely slaughtered.
Mauled by water and rocks.
The hammer himself is also caught in the trap. He gets rolled. He rolls down some of the rocks. And he's almost killed by a Greek soldier when Judah puts a spear in that guy's back. He throws it at him.
Yeah.
So there we go. We finally get a death.
We get a death and no blood.
And no blood. But Judah saved his life by spearing the dude from behind.
Nice.
And this is apparently all that needed to be done, as the Jews triumphantly return to town, and Judah picks up the old lady in joy. They're both excited to see the other. The Jews destroy the statue of Zeus, they clean up, and they repair the temple as the victorious song plays.
Yeah.
And this little show concludes with the story most people are probably familiar with. A celebration began and a menorah was lit, but they only had enough oil to last for 1 day. And it was going to be about 8 days before they could get extra. And by some miracle, it stayed lit for all 8 days until the new oil could be found or made. I'm not sure.
This was new to me because I thought the menorah was something that was created to represent this and not the thing that they actually lit. I thought they lit a lamp and the lamp lasted 8 days when they thought it was only going to last 1 or something like that.
Is it possible that they're simplifying for the sake of cartoon?
I have no idea because they do it in the next episode too.
Yeah.
So I don't know.
I guess we got to find out the history of menorahs now.
I guess I should have done some research. Well.
What, are we supposed to, know what we're doing?
I refuse.
And so to commemorate this miracle of the oil lasting 8 days, the Festival of Lights is celebrated each year to remind the people of God's love and mercy in saving Israel and reclaiming the temple. And so we close on an image of many menorahs lit, as though to represent the whole world. That's
cool.
It. It's pretty simple.
Pretty boring.
Pretty boring.
Yeah.
Let's talk about the best, and let's talk about the worst.
Okay. Best was the guy who was just living for his toga.
He was pretty dope.
He was into it, and he was a little sassy, and I liked him a lot. Worst would be how hard it was for me to pay attention.
It was not exciting.
No.
The best for me is all the jokes I got to make about the hammer.
Yes.
Just so it's funny.
You just giggled through the whole thing, didn't you?
I am the hammer. And the worst was while doing this recap and talking about it, I had to say the Jews or Jews a lot, and I don't like it.
I don't like it either. I don't like it either.
It's an uncomfortable...
You're quoting it.
Yes. But it is an uncomfortable combo of words.
It is.
The Jews.
Right.
I just don't want...
The blacks.
Right.
Just, no.
The any ethnic group I'm against.
Right.
So it was just... But that's all. That's all I have to say about that one.
Cool.
So now let's talk about the Rugrats Hanukkah special.
I fucking love it. I love it so much. Also, the theme song just got me, like, the theme song come on, and, like, my entire childhood flooded over me.
My first line is immediately upon hearing the theme song, my nostalgia kicked in hard as fuck.
Hard as fuck. Punched right in the face. I also remembered that that's the only song I can play on piano, and I taught myself, hilarious. I was like, I taught myself, like, by ear how to play it, and it's the only one that's ever stuck with me.
When I hear the song, I think of the Blackstreet song from the Rugrats movie. With
nice.
Maya in it. You know the song?
I know this song. I mean, I remember there being a song. Yeah. I don't remember it. How does it go?
It goes, dun, dun. It starts with Bert, dun, 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 dun. And the Blackstreet guy starts going, you, she. Just take me there.
Is that the Rugrats Go to Paris?
That was from the first one, I believe.
Oh, okay.
Where Dill is born.
Dill.
Right. The movie where Dill is introduced. Right. But that was, I think, from that movie. Because Who Let the Dogs Out was from their second one.
Fuck, I hate that song. I hate it so much.
Yeah. But I fucking love that song.
Yeah.
Maya's great. Blackstreet was great.
Yeah.
And I just always think of that song.
Where is Maya? What's she up to?
I don't know. She made Lady Marmalade. No, I have not seen her since.
Yeah, that's pretty much it.
But, do you have anything to say about this in one sentence?
It's great.
It's great. I loved it. Mine is, babies don't understand stuff, and that makes it cute.
It is
this
cute.
time about Judaism.
Sometimes they can't pronounce anything, and it's real cute.
Potatoes.
Yeah, that was a weird one.
Okay. So after my nostalgia kicks in and we hear the Rugrats theme song. Let's talk about Rugrats really quick in case someone's unfamiliar.
Oh, if you're unfamiliar,
get familiar.
Stop what you're doing. Go watch it on Hulu. Watch it all. It's so good.
Rugrats is a cartoon from Nickelodeon about babies.
During the golden age of Nickelodeon.
There are 4 babies to start. Chucky, who is a coward and got allergies and stuff.
He's a little red-headed kid with glasses, and I love him. He's like my favorite.
Tommy Pickles.
Yeah, the leader.
The leader. He has a screwdriver that he uses to do stuff. I've also heard tale that he's basically the Doctor.
Yeah, I've heard that too.
Yeah, he's just
that fan theory.
He's a baby version of the Doctor.
Because he always has a screwdriver in his diaper.
Not like literally a version of the Doctor, just like clearly modeled after
the Doctor Who.
From Doctor Who, yeah. Which makes a lot of sense.
That's fun. I like that.
And then there's Phil and Lil, twins.
Yes.
Opposite genders.
Yes.
Who are gross.
They are disgusting.
That's their whole thing.
I love them.
They're hilarious.
Yeah.
Literally at one point in this episode, Dill is eating chocolate coins.
Yeah.
And says that they don't taste as good as the coins under the couch.
Yeah. They are both like that.
Because it's like, okay, you're both a bunch of weirdos. A song opens up the episode that's different from the theme song.
Right.
Hanukkah song, I guess. And we hear that, long ago, in the land of Israel, the Jewish people lived happily with their neighbors, the ancient Greeks. But one day, there came a new king of the Greeks who wanted everyone to be like him. And so the Rugrats are seen playing the role of the Jews from the story.
Yeah.
So we see... Oh, we forgot to mention Angelica.
Oh, yeah, Angelica.
Angelica is Tommy's cousin.
Yes.
She is older than them. She's like 4.
Yeah.
And so she calls them dumb babies all the time because they're just babies.
She's the only one who can understand. And a half.
She can understand the babies because...
She's still kind of a baby.
She's still kind of a baby. The adults obviously don't know that babies can talk.
Right.
And she's a spoiled brat. She's completely self-centered.
Yeah.
She's the villain of almost every episode.
She is. She has hardcore only child syndrome.
Correct. So we see Tommy and Chucky and Angelica and Phil and Lil adjusting to their new dynamics with the Greeks taking over. Phil and Lil embrace the forced Greekiness all the way, while Angelica's happy because one of the Greek gods is her doll, Cynthia.
Yeah, so she's all about it. I love Cynthia.
Angelica's obsessed with Cynthia. She carries her everywhere.
Yeah.
Chucky and Tommy don't care about that Greek stuff, and they hide away with the old books of their 4 fathers, and our 5 fathers, and our 6 fathers.
You love that.
It's just good.
It's so good.
And so a soldier comes in and confiscates Tommy and Chucky's things. And so Tommy, the Maccabee, steps forth to challenge the Greeks.
He calls himself the Maccabee.
A Maccabee's gotta do.
What a Maccabee's gotta do. Classic Tommy.
But because Phil and Lil were just enjoying the Greekness, they didn't consider themselves Greek. They join up.
Right.
And so...
They're the equivalent of the guy who just really liked togas in the last episode.
And the battle begins where we cut to the real world, where we realize that Tommy's grandparents are telling the Rugrats the story of Hanukkah.
Yes.
That's going to make sense later why we keep doing this. Angelica's just glad that the story's over so she can watch her Christmas special in peace.
Yep, a Cynthia Christmas special.
Mm-hmm. Tommy's mom makes latkes because latkes are delicious.
And I really wanted one.
And Grandpa's upset because his friend Shlomo has outdone him once again by making it into the local newspaper in the promo for their upcoming performance at the Senior Center about the story of Hanukkah.
Hanukkah. In
his own words, Grandpa's words, I catch a smell, he catches a sturgeon. I catch a cold, he catches pneumonia.
I love Grandpa.
He always
I love both of the Grandpas.
Yes, but he's basically complaining that Shlomo always outdoes him.
Right.
So.
Yeah, and he's like, I had a family, he has a great business. Like, I don't know what that comparison is, but okay.
And the babies begin to realize some inconsistencies around the house, including that everyone's making pancakes at night.
Right.
And the menorah they have to light every night. Tommy says, like, every night my grandpa brings me and he says a bunch of stuff I don't understand.
Yeah.
And then we light a candle.
And then they give me a present.
And then they get it presents. So the babies sort of try to figure it out and they conclude that it must be Tommy's birthday.
And he's like, every day? Maybe they're doing all your birthdays at once. Maybe you're a big kid now. Right. And it's real cute.
So they decide that they have to blow out the menorah because that's what you do on your birthday candles.
Right.
So they try to lift him up, but he's not quite tall enough. And Angelica catches them doing this. And she explains, it's not Tommy's birthday, you dumb babies. It's Hanukkah. And she tells them very specifically, you have to make the when you say it.
Yep, and that's why we are going to do that from now on.
And so...
They showed the spittle coming out of everybody's mouth as they try to pronounce it.
But it's that special time of the year, she explains, between Christmas and Misgiving, when all of the bestest holiday shows are on TV.
She's not wrong.
And on the subject, it's almost time for the Cynthia Christmas Extravaganza Special.
Yep.
So she's just gonna go watch that.
That's what she wants to do.
Because
she's talking to the babies and setting up her little Cynthia doll house situation. It's kind of cute.
Mm-hmm.
She and Cynthia are going to watch the Cynthia special.
And one thing that should be noted about Tommy's dad is he is...
my favorite character.
The best character.
Yeah.
He is basically an absent-minded genius.
Right.
He makes toys.
Yeah.
But like really advanced toys.
Yeah. He's an inventor.
And he's kind of a airhead besides that.
Right.
When he's not inventing, he's completely checked out.
He's a little wackadoo.
So he's a little wackadoo.
He and his father are hilarious.
So he's down in the basement with Tommy's other grandpa.
Yeah.
Because Dee Dee is
the mom. Dad.
Yeah, the mom is the Jewish side.
Right.
So her grandparents are the Jewish side.
Right.
And Tommy's dad and his grandpa are just Tommy's dad and his grandpa.
Right.
Who are not Jewish, but
they're supporting it. He's trying to build a cool menorah for her.
Right, because he's built this elaborate Hanukkah contraption to show how supportive he is and how much he wants Tommy to appreciate his Jewish heritage.
Yeah.
Also, I'm pretty sure Judaism is passed down, whatever the phrase is.
Yeah, it's like if your mom's...
Tommy's straight up Jewish.
Yeah. If your mom's Jewish, you're Jewish.
Nice.
That's what I've been told.
And when he turns his machine on, the dad does, he starts a fire in the basement because it's gone overboard. The power goes out. The fire starts.
Yeah.
He says to his wife, I'll meet you guys at the church or synagogue. His grandpa corrects him, or his dad corrects him. Like, you're so supportive. It's a synagogue.
It's a synagogue, you dummy.
So, Grandpa complains, as they're walking out the door to head to the synagogue, complains about Shlomo some more, and says, the meaning of Hanukkah, phooey. And the babies interpret this as the meanie of Hanukkah.
Yes.
And so they devise a plan to take him down.
Right. Always an adventure.
Always an adventure with the children and the doctor, who is Tommy.
Yep.
So at the synagogue, Angelica doesn't like latkes because she was expecting a regular pancake. So she spits it out and complains about the tomatoes that are in it. It's weird that she can identify tomatoes so easily.
I mean, yeah, you're right.
Yeah, she's just tomato.
Maybe she really doesn't like tomatoes.
That could be it.
Yeah.
And so she hauls off instead to find a TV so she can watch her Cynthia Christmas Extravaganza special.
Yep.
For his part, Tommy's dad is stuck in traffic. Because he's like, why won't this stuff move any faster?
Yeah.
Because he is in a Hanukkah parade.
He did not notice. He is now afloat in a parade.
Right. Because he does have this crazy, giant Hanukkah contraption on his car. So he looks like a float.
Yeah.
And he's just complaining that they're stuck in a parade and doesn't realize it.
Yeah.
And Shlomo and Grandpa rib each other backstage of the play. Mm-hmm. Or maybe on stage of the play. I'm not sure which.
I don't either. I don't know.
Angelica runs away from the play because she does not care. She wants a TV.
Yeah.
And she goes into a room with the Torah, and some guy comes by, and he tries to explain to her the history of the Torah and how
she's
great
like,
it is.
I don't care. And she's a trip. She's focused.
She doesn't say I don't care, because then he might know. Yeah. She leaves the room.
She literally, he starts talking about, the Torah, and she is just gone.
Yeah, she notices that a janitor has a small TV on his little cart.
Right.
And so she runs away following him.
She is nothing if not persistent.
Yeah, she does not give a shit about that Torah stuff. She is eventually caught by one of the adults and taken to the nursery while the play begins, and as Shlomo appears, and they see, they're hinted at because Grandpa was complaining that he likes to poke him with his sword, his little fake prop sword. And so that's how they knew the Meanie of Hanukkah pokes people with swords.
Right.
So on stage, Shlomo pokes Grandpa with the sword, and so the kids think this
the babies riot.
The babies riot, and they rush the stage.
Yeah, it's the best. What good babies.
I know, they're so valiant.
Get him!
So the babies are also taken to the nursery with Angelica. And she keeps trying to jump over the door. Yeah. So she can kind of see the TV if she jumps really high.
Yeah.
And she eventually...
child safety thing on the knob. She's like, what evil genius invented? What did she say?
Oh, I don't remember this.
She's like trying to get the handle, but it's like it was baby-proof handles. She's like, what monster came up with this? Which has got to be how babies feel.
Yeah.
What the hell?
Fuck this.
Yeah.
But Angelica eventually manipulates the kids into trying to get their hands on a TV because everyone knows adults fall asleep in front of them.
Yeah.
And that's how they can take out the Meanie of Hanukkah. I've missed a couple, so...
It's okay. Probably for the better.
I add all of those to when I say Hanukkah earlier.
You're talking to yourself.
I know. No, I'm saying it to the audience.
Oh.
If I missed any, just...
Cool. I'm sure they're loving this.
Okay. So we're back on stage with Shlomo and Grandpa, and they begin to actually fist fight.
Yeah.
Although they're old, so nothing bad happens.
It's cute.
And so the play is cut a little short, and the choir comes on stage to distract the people. And Shlomo and Grandpa argue backstage about how Grandpa always brags about his children and grandchildren, while Shlomo was always so boastful about his fancy pants business deals. But it turns out, it was Grandpa who was being a dick the whole time. Mm-hmm. Because Shlomo and his wife were never blessed with children, in his words.
Apparently that's what he really wanted.
They tried, and so all he had left was his fancy pants business deals.
That's so sad.
Yeah, a little bit.
It's really sad.
So Grandpa feels bad, and Shlomo gives him the crown to be the king in the play, because he doesn't even have anyone to share his tradition with anyway.
Someone hug Shlomo.
Grandpa needs to hug Shlomo. He's the one who hurt him.
It's true.
But we move now to the babies and Angelica, who have escaped the nursery and are going to go grab that TV from the sleeping janitor. And Angelica steps on Lil's soft spot to reach it.
It's my soft spot.
And she goes, your whole head is a soft spot.
Every now and then you get a moment, they have these moments of self-awareness that's just so funny.
Yeah. But while the babies reach for the TV, after it's fallen off the shelf, Angelica steals it from them because she was just trying to get the TV for the Christmas special. And to be honest, the babies are not surprised.
No.
I think Chucky's like, oh, what a shock.
Yeah.
She stole the TV. Just who could have seen this coming?
She's manipulative. She's only manipulative.
But when asked...
I've seen this coming.
That's what he says.
I think that's what he says.
When asked what they're going to do about the Meanie of Hanukkah, because Angelica stole the TV, Angelica tells them they're just dumb babies, and there is no Meanie, before she runs away with the TV, and she crashes into Shlomo, who's walking around. And this makes her drop the TV, and it breaks.
Yep.
And he tries to make her feel better, but he's not very good with kids. And so she's crying really loudly, while the babies come up with a plan to stop the Meanie from squeezing her guts out. Because he's picked Angelica up trying to comfort her, but he's holding her like people who don't know kids do.
Right.
Like out with all of his arms out, and she's holding her.
Yeah.
And like somewhat shaking her. Like
he's gonna squeeze her guts out.
So Tommy realizes that his grandpa always falls asleep after a good story, so maybe the Meanie will too.
Yep.
And so the babies, Tommy especially, holds up a Hanukkah book in
Yes.
in front of Shlomo in an attempt to get him to go down for a nap, while Angelica continues crying And eventually, Tommy's grandpa hears all this ruckus, and he comes by to figure out what's going on. Mm-hmm. And he sees the kids and helps Shlomo with them. He comforts Angelica a little bit and then tells Shlomo to read the story to the babies because Tommy was holding the book up in front of him, telling him to, looks like, read me a story.
Yeah, and he's like, you should read the story. He's like, no, you should. He's like, he wants you to read it.
Yeah, because Shlomo's like, you're a grandpa, it's your grandkid, read the story. And he's like, no, he wants you to do it.
He wants you. It's cute.
It's cute. So Shlomo continues the story of Hanukkah from the beginning of the episode, continuing where we left off. Despite repelling the Greeks, the city was still a complete mess, and the temple had been damaged, and their beautiful menorah, which was supposed to burn forever, had also been destroyed. So Shlomo takes out a little prop menorah to show the kids, and he says that it's something like a nightlight for their people, telling them that it's okay to be different and to be proud of who they are as Jews. And so they light the menorah, while Tommy's grandpa finishes the story about how the oil lasted 8 days through a Hanukkah miracle.
Miracle!
And so they light the menorah every year to remind themselves of the miracle of Hanukkah. And when the story is over, Shlomo has fallen asleep, so the babies think that their plan has worked to put him to sleep with the story. Which is also still cute.
Yeah, it is. Everything about it.
Relevant to this is that all of this is apparently happening backstage, which is weird, because how big is this place?
Yeah.
It seems like they've traveled a lot, but it's just right here.
Yeah, we're also seeing it from the kids' perspective, so everything's huge.
But Tommy's dad, finally arrives at the synagogue with his elaborate menorah contraption, and as soon as he turns it on stage, it blows up the stage, revealing Grandpa and Shlomo behind it with the children, and the whole audience goes, "Aww." And so Grandpa closes with a Hebrew blessing as Shlomo and him break into song. And the babies take it all as a victory because even the Meanie is playing nice now.
Yep, they did it.
Episode's over, and Shlomo and Grandpa are getting along.
I know, everything's happy and everything's good.
It's the spirit of Hanukkah.
And I wanted to watch the next episode immediately.
You can now.
I know.
We're almost done.
Kind of. I have so much to do today.
Yeah, I know.
Boo.
So what's your favorite, or what's the best, and what's the worst?
I can't even pick a best. I just love it. I just love Rugrats. It's a great show.
I'm gonna stick with my favorite line. You're stepping on my soft spot. Your whole head's a soft spot.
Yeah, that's great.
The best. The worst. There's nothing worse about Rugrats.
There's nothing bad about Rugrats.
It's fucking great.
It's perfect.
Oh, I know something worse.
Oh.
This episode in particular had some controversy attached to it because there was claims that Shlomo, I believe, looked like a Jewish stereotype, like one of those old political cartoons about how Jews are horrible.
Yeah?
And so the ADL protested.
What? Really?
Yeah,
I didn't know that.
I don't know how it eventually resolved, but they said that Shlomo was an offensive Jewish stereotype, basically.
Wow.
So that's, I guess, the worst of it. I didn't see it.
I don't see that.
But I only know the one, Jewish propaganda thing.
Yeah.
With he's rubbing his hands together.
Right. They're all, hunched over and, yeah.
I don't think he seemed like that.
Not at all.
I could be, I don't know. Maybe they have better evidence. I don't know.
Like a grandpa.
Yeah, this controversy is from 1998, so I have no idea.
Gotcha.
Or whenever this episode came out. So I didn't...
Season 4, so it would be the 90s still.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You have any worse to say?
No, it's perfect.
Perfect. It's fucking Rugrats.
Rugrats.
So now that we've talked about some animated classics about Hanukkah, do you have anything like this that you might recommend?
Rugrats.
Just all of it.
All of it. We should watch all of the Rugrats.
I have one thing. It's the only thing we could think of, and you mentioned it, so I thought you might take this, and then I was going to have nothing.
I have no memory.
If you're into Hanukkah specials.
Yeah.
And you're into kids shows.
Oh, yeah, totally.
Even Stevens has a Hanukkah special.
It does. We consider doing that one, too.
Right.
Maybe next year.
Maybe. So if you like that, that's cool. Hanukkah stuff is impossible to find.
It's really rare.
There is almost nothing. I even asked...
Our one Jewish friend.
He said, no.
He doesn't... No.
He's like, there's nothing.
Yeah.
I just figured he might have something as a kid.
Yeah.
He saw something. No, there's nothing. It's really weird.
Go watch Yentl.
I don't know what that is.
It's a Barbara Streisand movie that she directed based on a true story about a woman who dressed like a man so that she could study the Torah.
Oh, there you go.
Way back in the day. It's very good, and it's where that Papa Can You Hear Me? That song is from.
Okay.
Yeah.
But now, let's talk about what we're going to do next week.
Okay, what is it? The Hebrew hammer. You get to say hammer more.
That's right. I didn't think of that. So,
I've heard of this.
Hanukkah, as we know, is an 8-day holiday.
Right.
This episode will come out before it.
Okay.
And the next one's going to come out in the middle of it.
Oh, great.
So what better way to celebrate than the Hebrew hammer?
Sweet action.
That's right.
I'm stoked.
And it has a 6.2 out of 10 on IMDb. So let's just read the review that was rated most helpful to get an understanding of it.
Okay.
I have cut some of it to make it a little more concise.
All right.
The Hebrew hammer is all about Goldberg, Adam Goldberg, as the certified circumcised private dick title character.
Private dick.
A Jewish combination of Shaft, Superfly, and Mike Hammer, who sets about to defeat an evil Santa Claus who has sworn to put an end to Hanukkah.
Oh my god, I love this.
A campy, silly, and occasionally outrageous slam fest, this flick takes pot shots at Jews, Afro-Ams, and white Gentiles as our not-so-superhero goes after Santa, armed only with a babe, big guns, and guilt trips.
Yes.
What the film lacks in class and production value, it almost makes up for with non-stop kosher comedy.
Who did the review? So we can...
Some guy named G.
All right, G.
G.
Cool.
Thanks, G.
What year did this come out?
Oh, I don't know. I think it's early 2000s.
Okay.
Because it was a Comedy Central movie.
I remember it. Yeah. I remember when it came out. Yeah.
I think it was early 2000s, but I don't. That must have been when I was watching Comedy Central a lot, which would have been high school, which would have been probably 2004.
So this is what we're going to record next week.
That's right.
Yay!
Yeah!
I can't wait, actually.
It's on Amazon Prime. And remember,
yeah,
if you like the show, please give us a 5-star review whenever podcast app or service you are using. And spread the word about the show because I think it's good. You think it's good.
I enjoy myself.
Everyone likes it. So why not get more everyone to like it?
More everyone.
More everyone's. And links to everything, like social media and our website, are in the description of this episode. And at the website, you can send us a comment or a question so we can have a mailbag segment, kind of like we had today.
Kinda.
Except that it wasn't an email, it was just someone talking to me.
Yeah.
But it counts. You see how we addressed it?
Yes.
And as always, thank you so much for listening.
Thank you, guys.
Happy Hanukkah.
Oh, yes. Celebrate. I'll be celebrating with you. Why not?
Thanks for listening.
Bye.
Yeah. You got through the hangover.
I'm gonna go stick my head in a vice.